All right, so I've done enough 1v1s. I think it's about that time I did my, fruit tier list because, a lot of people have been asking me for it. I was watching this new anime with Story One and Sword, but she said, I said, I might as well go ahead and make this video before I continue watching my anime. So anyways, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into this. So first off, I'll go ahead and put like a staple fruit that belongs in every category, something that gives you an idea of what should be around in that category. First off, I guess we'll start a little random with it. I go magnet. We got magnet and S tier. Magnet is a great fruit. Metal arms, repel being one of the only things in game that can grab iframes is extremely nice. It has the ability to stun trade some ults if you can aim your repel arms right. And in general, like magnet, like is just really strong in terms of stun trades. Overall, a really great fruit. Definitely belongs in the S tier. All right. Next up, for the S plus tier, I'll put dough up there. A lot of people like to sleep on dough and call it bad, but dough has by far one of the best combo starters in this game, known as grilled dough. Not only because it guard breaks, but because of its pull and its stun. And if you're below a dough, you better pray because you're probably cooked. 9 times out of 10, if you're directly beneath a dough and you don't have a move that's directly prepared for that grilled dough that's about to come flying at your face, you're probably cooked. And because of how many M1s you can cheese into dough's combo, it does a ridiculous, and I do mean ridiculous, amount of damage. All right, next up, let me put something in that A tier. Let me think, because I had a tier list before this, but I reset it obviously so I could rank it live in front of you guys. I think in A tier, this will probably be the top of my A tier. I'll put Phoenix. I feel like Phoenix is extremely strong. Don't get me wrong. It's just, if you can't finish your opponent while you're in mode, you're probably cooked. I do think you could definitely argue Phoenix for being an S tier fruit. Actually, I want it in A tier. I feel like this, especially with the double jump that it just got, I feel like this could be like bottom of S tier. So disregard that Phoenix ranking. Actual A tier. Let me rank some of the stuff lower than it, bro, because I need to get a good grasp of how I want to do these tiers. Obviously, we have chop and chop tier. For D tier, a fruit that's just bad is Ice V1. It's like the worst fruit in the game. Like I have chop and chop tier, but Ice V1's the worst fruit in the game. A C tier fruit, I'd say is something like smoke. Smoke isn't really the best. Sand after the recent nerfs. Sand isn't really the best after the recent nerfs. What else is really mediocre? Rubber used to be down there, but rubber ain't down there no more. I'll tell you that's for sure. If you fought a good rubber, if you ran into Lily in ranks, you've seen how disgusting rubber is. All right, B tier, I'd say top of B tier is probably Quake. Quake is a decent fruit, don't get me wrong, but Quake is never gonna unless it's fighting a fruit that has to get directly in your face. Quake can't combo start. Eruption has too much wind up. Slam has too much wind up, making it basically impossible to do anything against a competent opponent, making the fruit just borderline garbage. I'm not gonna lie. And even with the increased slam speed, it's just mid, bro. I'm gonna be honest. There's no way to sugarcoat that. It's just mid. But it's not terrible. The combo when you land it does good damage. It's just a mid fruit. It's just all I can say about it. We got gas. I think gas is slightly better than Quake, I won't lie, but yeah, I think gas is slightly better than Quake just because of its combo starter in itself being a bypass with lots of range, being a slightly unpredictable and having way better combo starters than actual Quake, because Quake against any top tier fruit gets absolutely worked in terms of the fact that its combo starter is just kind of mid, but it's still a great fruit overall in my opinion. I could keep it pretty simple with these next few picks. We got Ice V2. This will be higher into S tier. You could actually, no, it's not. I'm trolling, bro. Ice V2 is going to S plus tier. Okay, it's only going into S plus tier because it has an 1000 damage combo. If you get perfect fling, right? This is perfect fling scenario, but it does have an 1000 damage combo. It has one of the best. I said, Grilled Dough is one of the best combo starters. Ice Hail is one of the best combo starters. The only thing with Ice Hail is if you do it from max range, there's a pretty decent chance that they get flung away from you, stopping you from combo starting. But other than that, Ice V2 is a pretty great kit. Having just Ice Hail being one of the best combo starters in the game. The combo is extremely long, allowing you to loop your moves and get a bunch of cooldowns back. You can M1 into the 1 and 3 skill, and you can use the 2 skill for comboing, Ice Skate for running and movement. The only thing that Ice V2 struggles with is fighting something like a Light V1 or Light V2. Anything that can get above Ice V2 cooks it drastically. Like, if you've been an Ice V2 and you tried to fight a light user, you've been through the pain I've been through, because it is terrible. It is one of the worst canon events you have to go through. But it's after that moment that you realize you are not built to be fighting that light fruit. A tier, I put Falcon up here just because of the simple fact that it basically has I'm pretty sure it still has a one-shot combo. That is the only thing keeping Falcon up here. It's not terrible at combo, starting with Falcon Punch being pretty decent and Wing Slicer being pretty decent. Definitely not deserving of S tier, and low key, it could definitely be at like top of B tier in my personal opinion. But the fact that it has a one combo does allow it to be like right here for me. Next up, we have Love. Love is like, oh my god, it's one of the best epics in the game. I do have it above Phoenix because Love is just a bunch of auto tracking, auto targeting. It comes with a disgustingly huge heal. Overall, Love is just a really strong fruit. The combos hit pretty hard, and you can stall for cooldowns pretty well with Cupid's arrow and things like that. So overall, I do think Love is deserving of an S tier spot. Next up, we have Rubber. Rubber, I'll give it like high A tier. Overall, the fruit's not really that great, but because of the recent buffs, especially Cough Bazooka Stun, Cough Lily, getting the fruit extremely overbuffed, you can even walk out of things such as Screech or Crimson Bomb, which has happened to me. It wasn't very pleasant, but it happened to me. And they can walk out of Screech and Crimson Bomb and other moves that don't like have like weird stun. And it's a really powerful weapon for Rubber users. Also, you know, obviously their increased base movement speed and just ability to rush down like certain like low tier fruits. Overall, again, not the best fruit, but I could definitely see the argument for it being better than the things below it. But I do think something like Quake could have a really good chance against it. Stuff like Gas could also have a really good chance against it. It depends on how you play. Next up, we have Gravity. Gravity will be like probably like my top of A tier. Gravity is a really great fruit. The problem with Gravity is if you can't hit your rocks or you can't bait out your opponent unblocking with the rocks properly, like you miss even one in your cooldowns, you're cooked. The second your opponent gets in your face, you are cooked, because push is not stun trading jack diddly squat. Once they're in your face and they throw out a move and you throw out a move, there's a really high chance they're winning that trade. And don't even get me started on Planetary Devastation, because that ain't saving you. That is not saving you against a good opponent. Let's see. Next up, we have Venom. This will probably be around like the top of my S tier. You know, it did recently just get demoted from Mythic to Legendary, but it also plays the Legendary spot really well. It is like at the top, like upper echelon of Legendaries. There are like two that I feel are better than it, but overall, Venom is still extremely strong, especially being one of the few fruits that can actually fight against what is my #1 fruit in the game, which I'll tell you guys later. It can fight against it pretty well, especially if you know what you're doing. But yeah, anyways, Venom's like top of S tier for me. Still a really strong fruit. The kit is really nice, and yeah. Next up, I'll go String. String it's a really strong fruit. I do feel like it's held back by the fact that you can cancel String Clone, completely bug the String Knight out, and then you're like kind of just a regular String. I feel like Phoenix might be slightly better simply because of things like its double jump and crazy jump height, crazy movement speed, and crazy damage output. Though I do feel like these are interchangeable. Either one could be better than the other. String just has really great movement, and overall it has a really nice and solid kit, especially with the clone applying pressure to anybody who's trying to fight you, and it's extremely annoying. So I mean, if you wanted to say String was better than Phoenix, I wouldn't like go against it fully. But if you want to say String is better than Love, I would disagree with that. Next up, we have Flame. After nerfs, Flame isn't bad, but after nerfs, it's just not as good. It was the fire gun really carrying it is like completely, I'm gonna be honest, especially with the combo extending. Pretty sure that basically a one-shot combo. It was doing way too much damage before. It's now more tame now, and it's still a decent fruit, but it's just nowhere near as good as Flame V2. So if you have Flame, just go ahead and get Flame V2. Next up, we have Bomb. Oh, Bomb's another fruit down here that can go in C tier. You can dodge the ultimate like by literally soloing or like literally jumping and dashing in circles. Not the best fruit. It's still pretty decent, but again, not the best fruit. Next up, we have TS Rubber. You can, I'd like, usually if it was just the base we were talking about, I wouldn't be putting TS Rubber above Magnet. A lot of people complain about TSR because they don't know how to use their Soru to dodge a jet pistol, which is, you know, on them, or, you know, trading a jet pistol, because jet pistol is one of the most cancelable moves in this game. But, you know, a lot of people don't understand how to do that, which I'm gonna be honest, that's on them, not gonna lie. But the one thing that's getting me to put TSR this high is because of Gear 4. Gear 4 mode is one of the most disgusting cancer modes you've ever had to fight against, simply because of Culverin. And King Kong Gun are disgusting. Culverin is one of those moves that can trade basically anything. Go positive on the trade. Like, you're not going to get anything else, but like, you're not going to get punished. You can go neutral on the trade. You're going to get a lot of damage, or you're just going to, like, we're going to block it and they're going to get guard broken. And then again, you're still just going neutral. At the end of the day, you could throw that move out. And at the end of the day, you're either winning or you're tying. Unless, of course, they have an iframe. But overall, it just has really nice movement speed, 2 movement skills. It has a really nice jump height. Gear 4 is just a really great mode overall. Next up, we have Light. I'd say Light V1 is deserving of an A tier spot because of movement speed and light kick alone. Light is very annoying, very chip damagey, but when it gets going, it is one super annoying fruit to fight, especially if you don't have the means to catch the Light V1, because then you're going to get toyed with very badly. But overall, it's still a great fruit. I don't think it's better than Gravity, but overall, it's still a really great fruit. Next up, we have Paw. And Light are interchangeable, in my opinion. I think Paw is like slightly better because the combos do more damage and are more consistent as compared to Light, which is a little less consistent, but you know, it does hit pretty hard. But Paw, just like Sonic Stomp being a really great combo starter. You have your Sumo Thrust Barrage into Sonic Stomp, which forces your opponent to block, and then they have to eat the Sonic Stomp. Really great setups. The ultimate does pretty good damage, and you can combo extend into Pressure Cannon with it. You have Torture for stun trades, which is a decent stun trade overall. It's just a really nice and pretty strong kit. You also have your Sonic Stomp being able to use as like Geppos to stay off the ground for opponents who are going to snipe you the second you touch the ground. And overall, just a pretty strong fruit. Definitely belonging in the A tier in my opinion. Let's see. Dang, I should have left my tier list up on another tab. That way I can compare it like when I got done. Because now, like, I'm trying to remember what my other tier list looked like. Now, next for S tier, I got Light V2. Light V2 is on the low disgusting. Like, if you know what you're doing with Light V2, it's on the low disgusting, especially if you know how to set up for Photon into an X-Flash or Photon into the ultimate, making it completely impossible for the opponent to do anything unless they're smart enough to Soru. But if they wasted their Soru, then they're kind of just stuck there and they have to eat it. It's just, overall, Light V2 is really nasty, having some of the best movement in the game, like X-Flash to run away and freaking Mirror Flight, some of the best movement in the game. The combos do pretty good damage. The ultimate is one of the best just like throw out ultimates in the game. Overall, Light V2 is extremely strong, and yeah, it's deserving of an S tier spot for sure. Next up, I'll go with Nika, Gear 5. I got this in the S plus tier. Honestly, I have it below Ice V2. Ice V2, like, okay, Ice V2 would get touched by Venom, right? But just because Ice V2 gets touched by Venom doesn't mean that it's not better than Venom. Ice V2 is significantly better at combo starting. The damage that it does in its combos is just, it's better than Venom's too, and it isn't on a mode timer. Like, all of these components is what makes it better than Venom overall, especially when fighting other fruits that aren't Venom, that Venom struggles against. Like base Nika, Venom mode is a base Nika victim. But Nika overall is pretty strong, struggles at combo starting. Kaminari did recently get a speed buff, but again, it does still struggle at combo starting slightly. Gear 5 definitely isn't bad, having the longest mode in the game, having really great jump height, having really good, decent movement speed, and just having, you know, spinning top and Kaminari for combo starters, Bajrang being one of the hardest hitting ultimates in the game. Gear 5 is definitely really strong. The base is pretty decent. But it's definitely not deserving of a high S plus tier like spot, but it is a really strong fruit. Next up we have Lightning. I'd say Lightning probably goes in my actual top of S tier spot. It's one of those mythics that's good against everything that's below mythic, but when you put Lightning against everything that's a mythic, then it starts to struggle hardcore, and that's what just like hinders it down to my S tier spot. It's a fruit that's pretty good for stalling, but for Lightning to be good, you have to constantly be running, spamming Crushing Judgment, and spamming like 3-volt projected burst the entire match. And eventually, once your opponent catches you, you get put in a pretty bad spot. You usually have Raigo to get them off of you, but depending on what you're fighting, some fruits can even punish the Raigo. Like Doe can punish it with Buzz Cut. If you're off the ground, Leopard can punish it with like Rising Claw combo. There's just options for certain fruits. So you just kind of have to be careful with that fruit. It's definitely extremely strong. One of the best boss farming fruits in the game. It literally is the best boss farming fruit in the game. It's strong, but it's not S plus tier deserving. Next up, we'll go Soul. Soul, ooh, Soul is like, ooh, it's like a really amazing fruit. I definitely think it's better than Ice V2 and Gear 5. Now, here's the thing with Soul, right? The reason I put it under Doe is soul is a victim of most fruits until it gets the mode. If we're going purely off soul mode, it's above dough, right? But if you take into account in every mode that you use soul, you have to gain at least 1 soul before you can transform. That's what keeps it below dough, because you have to hit your opponent before you can transform. If you don't hit your opponent, you're a sitting duck. And even once you do hit your opponent, you have to make sure you do it after the right move, because if you don't, you'll get punished for transforming, which is a big hindrance to soul. So don't get me wrong, with mode, it's above dough. Without mode and with the troubles of trying to transform without getting punished, it's below dough. Let's see, next up, I'm saving way too many of these mythics for last. I'll go Ope. Ope is a really strong fruit, especially if you know how to do shambles glitches, which can get you out of moves like Ice Hail. It can get you out of moves like Anemone. Like the shambles glitch is extremely strong. It'll like completely remove your stun. If you know what I'm talking about, you can ask like German if you know who that is. He knows exactly how to like cheese the heck out of like the Ope glitches. There's also Mess not having a proper time limit right now, so when you take the heart, you can basically get all of your cooldowns back by the time your opponent pushes back into your room. You probably still have the heart for like 1 or 2 squeezes, and then you could probably go for another heart steal if I'm being honest. But the only problem with Ope is the fact that if they run outside the room, when you're charging and pushing them, you can't hold block anymore. So it leaves you extremely vulnerable when trying to press towards your opponent. So, you know, Ope is really strong, but at the same time, it does have its downsides. There's also like the attack shambles tech, which can catch most fruits and, you know, get you a nice little combo start. So Ope overall, really strong fruit. I think it has one of the best ultimates in the game, in my personal opinion. If you know how you're using it right, and, you know, taking somebody heart and having literal like mobile stun in your hand that you can use at any time is extremely powerful. But overall, I would say if you know how to glitch abuse and stuff like that, Ope is above dough. If you don't know how to glitch abuse and stuff like that, I put Ope like probably right underneath dough. But again, soul mode I have over both of these. Soul mode I have over both of these. But again, with the troubles of trying to transform, I have soul under both of these. Let's see. Next up, I'll go Magma V2. Magma V2 is extremely strong legendary. I put it right under the magnet. Magma V2 is literally just a downgraded version of Dough. If I'm like not sugarcoating it, it's just a worse version of Dough. The one skill can be blocked and then soared out of, making it, you know, like actually fightable against the one skill. You don't just get cooked the second they throw it at you. But it does have really great stun traits like Mygo and such. And the combo does a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure you can get in 2 one skills. Sometimes if you try to do that, it will stun stack and screw you over, especially with like Magma Floor not flinging if they use a move in it. But, you know, it's a really strong fruit overall. Does really great damage. It's pretty good for stun trades, and it's definitely deserving of an S tier spot, but I do have it below Magnet on my tier list. Next up we got Leopard. Okay, Leopard, if you know what you're doing, I'd say it's like, realistically, it's like right here for me, because Leopard against the good Ice V2 is the most annoying fight for a Leopard possible because of Ice Hail. But overall, okay, overall, I have Leopard like right here. Because, you know, obviously, so like complete troubles in transforming against the Leopard. You're going to get rushed down, walked down. They're going to stun trade anything you do. If you go for Zeus Meadow to get away from them, then they're going to press you after that. You're probably going to be eating a Rising Claw combo once they get really close to you. Unless you catch them with a lucky Crimson Pillar, you're probably cooked in that scenario. And overall, Leopard has the fastest movement speed in game, tied with Okuchi. It has Roku Gun, it has Rising Claw combos, 2 moves that lead to you having iframes during them. Leopard's kit is just really fast, a lot of bypasses, really strong, really great for walking an opponent down. The stun trades are iffy for some things, but overall Leopard is still extremely strong. Now, with mode, Soul above all 3 of these, right? Above all 3 with mode. But without mode, I have it below. Ice V2, I do think it has the capabilities to beating all 3 of these fruits up here. But it's just the fact that the low consistency of Ice Hail having the chance to fling them away, you not getting that combo, and if you don't get that Ice Hail combo start, you are going to get walked down to hell and back, and you are done for. So that's why I have Ice Hit like Ice V2 lower, because it's a consistency problem, but it's still better than like Gear 5 combo starting for sure. But overall, once Soul gets bowed, above all those. But like Leopard, like just in general being Leopard, it's like right here. It is a Dough victim, and it's like 50-50-ish with against Ope, but more leaning towards the Ope, since you're on a timer and you have to push towards the Ope inside of their room. That's the problem with Leopard versus Ope. Next up, we got Barrier. Barrier, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. I'd say it's around here somewhere. I think it's like slightly below Quake. Actually, Barrier is better combo starting than Quake, so I'll give it like right above Barrier. I don't think it's better than Gas. Gas is peak. The peak of all freaking, actually, matter of fact, Gas is the peak of all uncommons. It needs to like you gotta go down here. Rubber, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, Gas is like better in my personal opinion, but Rubber is like really stupid right now. I think it has like an 800 damage combo, so I gotta give respect where respect is due. Rubber being extremely stupid, cough cough, Lily. But you know, overall, Rubber or like Gas is definitely one of the best ones for having relaxing gas suffocation combo starter. But you know, Gas is like, I mean, Rubber is really overbuffed right now, so I mean, I have to give it like respect where it's due. Barrier just has some of the best combo starting for like a common fruit, you know, Crash being disgustingly fast. It bypasses block, stuns them, but it can be avoided, which is a heavy downside for Barrier. It did just get its spikes buff, which is pretty nice for Barrier, and like allowing the combo to sometimes, if you get lucky, do a little bit more damage. But overall, Barrier is still a kind of niche fruit. It's not bad, but it's definitely not like top tier, so it's down here. Next up, I'll go DV1. If I had to rank DV1, honestly, on all the fruits we're looking up at there, it goes straight to the top past all of these. DV1 is DV peak. And if you fought me using DV1, you know why it's ranked there. Because DV1 has Tatsumaki, one of the best combo starters in the game, a nice little guard break that is amazing. You have your nice little Screech into Crimson Bomb combo. The only thing holding Dragon V1 back as a fruit is the fact that Screech sometimes stun stacks, which completely, and I do mean completely, screws over the fruit sometimes. But DV1 actually, like, I know I said Leopard and Okuchi have the fastest movement, but DV1 actually has the fastest movement, tied with Phoenix. It has a pretty high jump height and has one of the longest modes other than Gear 5. It did just get nerfed recently, but overall DV1 is still one of the most oppressive fruits in the game. We'll probably catch more nerfs in the future, and is really strong, and it deserves to be up here in the S+ tier if you know what you're doing with it. Next up, I'll go Dragon V2. Dragon V2 is above its counterpart of DV1. Dragon V2 is still extremely strong, especially with the Bolo stun. It did just recently lose its Inferno Breath guard break, but in exchange, after Flaming Torch, if you use it with Inferno Breath, you no longer have your in lag to get punished, so it kind of just removes the real risk of using Inferno Breath raw when you have Flaming Torch on, making it really nice. That is wasting one of your combo extenders, but at the same time, you're not really going to get punished for it. It did also get its movement speed nerfed a little bit. Like overall, it did catch a few nerfs, but overall DV2 is still extremely oppressive. You walk your opponent down, you have the Bolo stun, you have Beast Bellow for free damage, and it's just nasty. DV2 is still a really amazing fruit, does really great damage in this and the other. I'll go Ash. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't touched Ash since it got nerfed, but Ash does still have one of the best combo starters in the game. So benefit of the doubt wise, I'm gonna give it like middle of A tier, right above Rubber, because it has a way better combo starter. I'll put it above Light. I don't think it's better. I don't know if it's better than Paw, because Paw has some really nasty combos and really nasty damage. But overall, Ash did get nerfed in terms of Cascade. Obelisk got nerfed, and I think the one skill also got nerfed. So I think A tier should be fine for it. I don't think it's at bottom S tier anymore for me. But you guys can tell me if you think I'm wrong in the comments. Next up, we got Dark. Dark got a little buffed. Dark has this like really cheese like combo where if you don't have like an iframe or a movement skill, you're cooked into like a semi-infinite combo kinda, and it's like really disgusting. So I mean, I'd put Dark, actually it's not even good at combo starting though. Like the problem is starting said combo. It's not easy in the slightest. So I'll put Dark like around here, because Dark and Quake are both garbage at combo starting, but the difference is, if Dark can land this combo, you're probably fried. You will probably lose the match. So I'm gonna put it like right here above Barrier, and yeah, that's a good spot for Dark in my personal opinion. Not a great combo starter, but if you get caught, you are cooked. Next up, I'll go Dark X Quake. I'm gonna be honest, #1 fruit in the game in my opinion. It covers all the bases it needs to. The turret is annoying, stops your opponent from doing M1 combos if they're an M1 fruit, forces their combos to go a little earlier. The combos of Dark X Quake in itself do great damage. The Quadra C Quake can be used to stall or do damage. It is a really great hitbox. Your opponents can't just sit above it and all that, making it a really great move. Neokorozu has a great hitbox. If you have antibody on, your anti-quake bypasses, giving you like really great pressure to anybody pushing you, and then you can set up another turret if you really need to. Overall, Dark X Quake just covers its bases, and it is the ultimate counter to Zoan Fruit. Like DV1, Leopard, like Okuchi, any like type of Zoan Fruit that needs to get close to you to walk you down, it gets negated by Dark X Quake, because if you try to walk them down, you end up in the bad situation, which, especially considering Dark X Quake also has one of the best moves in the game, Dark Hole Path, which is iframes that, you know, can combo start / combo extend / combo like not end, but you know do what it needs to do, combo trade. It is one of the best skills in the game, and easily why I think Dark X Quake is the best fruit in the game. I'm not saying it's like how we used to have Soul at like the Z tier. Again, it's still at the top of S+ tier. It's definitely beatable, but I do feel like it's the best fruit in the game overall, especially because considering how many top tier fruits it counters. Next up, we got Magma V1. Magma V1, you a goat, I ain't gonna lie. You pretty straight. I don't think you the best, so I'll give you like right above like Dark. Your combo starting, I feel like, is a little better with the Hellhound blocking tech, but with the new fruits we have nowadays, a lot of them have counters to that, which, you know, kind of hinders you. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm gonna put you like right below Dark, because your combo starting really isn't the best, if I'm being honest, but your combo damage is pretty high. You know, you can take a nice little B tier spot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm disrespecting Quake so hard by having these two fruits above it. Let me put Quake like right there. It could, like, low-key Quake could probably go higher if you know what you're doing. It's just it has too much wind up on everything, which is why it's so low for me. Anyways, next up, do we go new fruit or do we go Flame V2? We go Flame V2. We'll do new fruit last. For Flame V2, it could take a nice little spot right here. Flame V2 is still extremely strong. It did get nerfed, so Blazing Meteor is harder to combo extend off of with M1s, but it is still very possible. Twisting Meteor Stun also got nerfed, making it a little bit worse. But overall, I do feel like Flame V2 is still extremely strong. I don't think it's better than Leopard. I'm gonna move it down though, just a little bit, just because you know, Leopard is extremely strong right now. It did get a slight nerf too, but Flame V2's nerf hit a lot more, I'm gonna be honest. And if you're a good Leopard, I do feel like you can fight extremely well against the Flame V2, especially considering Twisting Claw can't stun trade like all of your moves anymore, and your Rising Claw combo kind of counters Twisting Claw. And honestly, Flame V2 against these other top tiers, like especially with the Twisting Claw nerf, doesn't do as well. So I'll say that Leopard is above it. But again, this is base Soul, like with the troubles of having to transform. Now, mode Soul without the troubles of transforming is like up here. I'm not gonna lie, Soul is disgusting. It's not better than Dark X Quake, but it is like one of the best fruits in the game easily, in my opinion. And then lastly, we have Okuchi. If I'm being honest, this fruit is really amazing, especially in terms of movement speed, the Divine Serpent being a great combo starter. The transformation is like almost impossible to get back, which is a real bad hindrance. But overall, Okuchi is a really great fruit, really good damage. You can M1 in the combos, which I was supposed to get removed, but the owner hasn't done it. Zach, please help us, because, you know, one combos. But because of the fruit having the potential to one combo and having pretty relatively easy combo starting, I would say this fruit is around right here, right below DV2. I don't think it's better than DV2 because DV2 has its counters, and overall DV2 is just a little bit more oppressive. But honestly, I do feel like you could put Okuchi at the number 2 spot, because Divine Serpent is low-key kind of more oppressive than anything DV2 has. So I would be fine with you putting Okuchi as the number 2 fruit in the game if you really wanted to. But the problem is DV2 can do a lot better against Dark X Quake than like Okuchi can. Okuchi gets shut down by Dark X Quake like heavily. It gets shut down. But anyways, guys, this is my tier list. We got Chop in the Chop tier. In the D tier, we have Ice V1. In C tier, we have Smoke, Sand, and Bomb. B tier, we have Flame V1, Barrier, Magma V1, Quake, Dark, Falcon, and Peak Gas. In A tier, we have Rubber, Light V1, Ash, Paw, Gravity. And in S tier, we have String, Phoenix, Light V2, Love, Magma V2, Magnet, TS Rubber, Venom, and Lightning. And then for our S+ tier, and honestly, I think this is pretty good that we have a lot of fruits in S+ tier, because that means there are a lot of fruits that are relative to each other. We have Gear 5, Ice V2, Flame V2, Soul, that's like Soul base, obviously. You know what I said about Soul mode. Once you in Soul mode, bro, you're a whole different beast, bro. Once you're in Soul mode, you're a whole different beast. Leopard, right above that. Doe, Ope, you could move down here, and I wouldn't really have any arguments against you. You could move it below dough if that's what you felt like, because again, Ope does have the troubles of making people come into the room, especially against fruits like dough. But also there is the bug abusing that you can do, which is why I have it above dough. But anyways, then after Ope, we have DV1. If you've fought a good DV1, you know why it's here. Dragon V2 and Okuchi, interchangeable depending on what you want to do. I have Okuchi higher just because of Divine Serpent. And then last but not least, we have Dark X Quake, the shutdown fruit of most Zoan fruits, having Dark Hole Path and iframe, having the turret that can, you know, be extremely annoying to your opponent, having Dia Karozu, one of the best stun trades in the game, Quadra Sea Quake, a heavily damaging ultimate which can be used literally just to make your opponent back away from you. And yeah, overall guys, that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a nice little yap session for me. Tell me if there's anything that you agree or disagree with down in the comments, and you know, I'll look at them and I'll see whatever you know, how I feel about what y'all's takes are. I'm gonna get back to watching my you know, anime. What was it called again? Oh yeah, it was Wistoria Wand and Sword. And yeah, anyways, I'm done with this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.